Thank you very much. I will present the political campaign that the Swedish Union of Tenants did ahead of the Swedish general election in September last year. And the pictures you can see on this slide with the people, there's a slogan, support for the human party, it says. That was our main message during our campaign. First, some background information. The rent setting system in Sweden is not mark rent based. That has to be clarified. We have another system, we call it utility value system. And another fact that is useful is that we have a lack of housing, especially rental housing. We have had that for a couple of years now, actually, and that's a huge problem. We heard during or ahead of the general elections more often from different parties that market rents would be the solution of the lack of housing, more and more often. And that was kind of not often we heard that before. It was the liberal and the conservative parties that opened the door to the markets. Then, our board, the Swedish Union of Tenants board, in May 2018, took a decision. We'll take the fight. We have to take the fight. And many of the parties had talked about freer renting setting and so forth in different parts of the market. But then our chairman, Marie, said, it ends up in market rents. They have to say, a cat is a cat, a dog is a dog, and it's market rents in the end of the day. So we focused on market rents, and then we had to educate a lot of people, especially the politicians, because they didn't know the difference always between the two systems. And opinion forming measures we focused on, and we also tried to create a conflict. What did we mean by that? We had to clarify the line between the two systems, that there is a conflict between the systems, and we wanted to make it very visible. And we also focused on recruiting new members. So we set up a couple of goals. Ensure the voters are informed about the consequences if market rents were to be introduced. They should be informed about that, and force the political parties to clarify or clearly declare their positions regarding market rents, because up to then or up to now they did not do that. And after the elections, the SUT should be sure that it had done everything to prevent market rents. We should be able to watch ourselves or look upon ourselves in the mirror and say, we did everything we could. So that was in May. We took the decision, or the board took the decision, and September was the time for the election. So you can imagine it was not oceans of time, so to say, and holiday times as well. But we did a lot of activities. And this is a list you can see here, and I will go through some of them now. As I said, one of the goals were to make a declaration of the political parties. The voters should know what the different parties think about market rents. In order to attract the interest of people, we had this message on different postcards, brochures, advertisings, and so forth. And I have to translate, at least for some of you, I suppose. Will you manage a rent raise with 5,000 crowns, which is about 500 euros per month? That was to catch their interest. And then on the backside of this brochure, for example, we clarified what the different parties had for opinion. What was their opinion about market rents? And we also wanted people to go to our website so we could give them more information. But this was a way to catch people's interest. And we did it in different channels, like advertising in newspapers, digital screens, cinema, social media was extremely important these days, and radio spots, of course. And all over Sweden at the train stations, for at least a couple of weeks, you could see at the digital screens these messages. Almost 30 million showings during the weeks before the election took place. Then, this was something completely new from our side. We set up a digital campaign and asked, how high will your rent become if market rents? We set up a completely new website where we wanted people to go into this website and fill out a form. And I will come back to that soon. The information in this digital campaign website was based on a consultancy report by Rumble, which I suppose is quite well known by many of you. It's a European company. And the aim from our perspective was that non-members should become members and members to be even more engaged or maybe even elected. How did it work? Yeah, people went into this website or downloaded the application and filled out a form. There were questions about where do you live, how big is your apartment, and questions like that. And then touched the enter, and then, ooh la la, there was a figure saying 20% raise in for your case, so to say. And that was based on this consultancy report. We can talk about that in the roundtable discussions, how it worked out. But then there were many people going into this website, and we had an aim that 7,000 should fill out the form and wanted a contact with us. But it was 22,000, more than 22,000 that wanted us to contact them, which we of course did. So we contacted them, and many of them were really worried about the situation, about the market rents, if they were to be introduced. So we recruited new members, almost 2,400 new members during the campaign, and many of them, our members, wanted to be engaged. This table shows that during the campaign, our media exposure grew compared to the year before. The orange staples are for 2017, and the blue ones for the year of the election, last year, so to say. And then you could see in July, which is the 7, and 8 is August, and 9 is September, that the blue staple is clearly higher than the orange one. It was also very important for us to be visible all over the country. In the regions, there were sent in hundreds of articles and letters to the newspapers in order to set the agenda and make market rents a question at national level. So they should not say it's just something that people at maybe Marie and some of the top shots are talking about. It's something that engage a lot of people all over the country. And we succeeded by that, I would say, with that aim. Here, Expressen is one of our daily newspapers. Dagens Industri is the pink paper, the business paper in Sweden. And these two newspapers arranged a TV debate. And already the second question was, what do you think? This is the political leaders you see here on the slide. What do you think about market rents? We forced them to take a position. Red for we don't like, green, yeah, we like. And even on internet, if you are searching for market rents or marknadshyra, which is the Swedish word, you could see this is a 5-year period. You could see that there's a clear peak on the searching for this word when we started the political campaign. So, some crucial results of the SUT campaign. Yeah, the political leaders and parties, they really had to clarify their position regarding market rents. That's for sure, which we hope made it easier for the voters to vote. And it was also a positive check for our movement. We are 540,000 members. We are the second largest movement in Sweden, and it was a check for us that our movement started to move. We hadn't had such a campaign for at least a decade, maybe longer. For a longer time, we hadn't had such a campaign. So it was good for our confidence. We made it together, both the members, elected people, and employees. But what next? What happened after the election? Yeah, it was a tricky situation because there was no clear majority in the parliament. But in the end, in January, actually, a couple of months later, so to say, the Social Democrats and the Green Party, they formed a minority government based on support by two liberal parties. Social Democrats and Green Party, they are not in favor of market rents, I have to say that, but the Liberal are. So, what happened? You know, such a collaboration cost something. So they set up a 73-point agreement, including introduction of market rents in newly built rental housing. I can say we were disappointed. Yeah, of course. And angry, of course. But were we surprised? No. Because we have already heard this talk about market rents. So then, was our campaign useless? No, I wouldn't say it was, because we acted and there was a threat and we had a fear of this, and we were kind of right. So, the SUT's capacity and strength is now well known by everyone, I suppose, and I hope. And there will be a political high price if they introduce market rents, that's for sure. That was it, and then I will show you the roundtable discussion questions which I think we could talk about. We share experiences, because I'm sure we all have experiences of political campaigning and lobbying, and which are the most cost-effective methods, and what kind of political campaigning activities are the most attractive for members to join. Yeah, that's it. Thanks.